Hello everyone, we're back down at the breach again today, and I can tell you that they're starting nice and early once again. Now there's plenty to look at with the works that happened after we left yesterday, but for the moment I'm just wondering what they're going to be doing now, and I'd imagine it'll probably be a case of finishing off the work that they weren't quite able to do yesterday. But real quick, I'm just going to make sure, see if there's anything else coming at the moment. Not just yet, so we can have a look. So the stream coming down from the nature reserve, you know, the one that goes directly into the culvert, they're turning that into a drain, and certainly wasn't expecting that, in all honesty, but I mean, it'll probably be a bit more functional, and that way well, I suppose it's got many uses, in all honesty. Keeps it nice and out of the way, keeps it protected from any of the work they're going to do in this area, and that also begs the question on what's going to happen to the entrance of the culvert as well. That is a question, but thankfully won't be too long until we do get an answer. Now you'll see there the Jedi Master just moving that Terran membrane as well, but looks like they have got some pea gravel onto the drain that's already in place, so it's probably a good, I'm not going to say halfway, well it depends how far they're going to go with it, whether it's going to be directly into the entrance of the culvert or not. Strange, like you say, the only strange part about it is if well, how they're going to do it with the front of the culvert, but we'll find out eventually. By the sound of it, a track dumper is on the way as well, so we'll go and have a look at that in a second. But how's it joined onto the start of the stream? Yeah, fair enough, I suppose. Now, I'll tell you what, we can have a bit of a closer look whilst there's no one in this area. So let's go do that now. Take it nice and easy. But yeah, really hoping for a nice busy day. Of course, if the stoning could start as early as next week, then you'd expect it to be, well, pretty busy constantly down here, I would certainly imagine. But yeah, it's just going into a bed of gravel, and it must be an efficient way of doing it, I suppose. But either way, let's go and have a quick look. One track dumper on the way. Now I wonder if this guy is full of gravel, or, well, we've seen them used for multiple things at the minute. Now I can tell you, and I'm sure you can see in the back left of screen there, the bridge work is still ongoing, certainly not to the same extent. I think it's mainly just a bit of tidying up work, but there you go, there's the track dumper full of that pea gravel. We'll go get a bit of a closer shot, but not too close. So there we go. Now here's a point as well. The big drone, it's on the way back, or it will be today anyway. I paid for it last night, so I couldn't find or replicate any issues. It was just a case of they took the drone apart, saw it was full of dust, not surprising at all. So I'd imagine it was probably an overheating issue. Now, when the easiest way of seeing if it's an overheating issue or not is usually just to check the battery temps. Now I did that, and that was all a-okay, but tell you what, we'll get a bit of a closer look. And the battery temps were all good, but the temperature of the actual drone electronics itself, you can't test that directly, or at least I don't know how to, and yeah, I'm guessing that was just the case, a little bit of overheating. It was obviously an extremely hot day, the day we had those issues, so I'm not too surprised by that, and if anything I'd say it's a pretty good outcome either way. So like I say, we'll certainly take that, won't be complaining with that. Now I can tell you that the large excavator has just swapped his bucket over, or quite literally over, so I think he'll be doing the gravelling for the time being. Of course, we saw yesterday that the smaller excavator was the one doing that work, but won't be the case, at least for the early part of this morning. And here we go now. Of course, yesterday we saw with the little excavator the noise it made when it was digging the gravel out of the back of the dumper was not very nice. Certainly wasn't, but thankfully, well, I was going to say I don't think it'll be as bad with the large excavator, but I suppose we'll find out in a short second. Nope, if anything, even worse. Now I'm sure with the large excavator on this job now, it will be quicker progress. It certainly will. The difference in capacity between the two is unbelievable. That's a good point, actually. Does anyone know? I suppose you'd probably need to know the bucket specs more than the excavator specs, with just how much extra the larger bucket on the larger excavator can do compared to the 9-ton excavator. But with them starting this work really early today and yesterday, I really do think it'd probably be the case where they've at least had an inkling of the plans, and they know, well, they've certainly got a timeline that, well, to say the least, I'd imagine is a little tight. Of course, if the stoning is next week, and we know there's jetting to be done on the culvert and the drains, there's lots to do, and you got to bear in mind as well, this whole area still needs topsoiling, and additional topsoil would probably need to be brought in as well. There's loads to do, and of course we still need an extra drain in this portion of the flood field, more towards the centre. So yeah, lots and lots to do, but hey, it gives me more to film, and once again, a busy day at work is always a better one, so it always goes a lot quicker, as I'm sure you guys know. It is quite satisfying work as well, to be fair. Now, I don't know whether to keep you for this bit or if I should suffer this sound on my own. Wasn't as bad, maybe I'm just getting used to it though. But you'll see that even in those two bucketfuls, a large portion or percentage of that has already been taken away. It felt like yesterday with the small excavator that, well, it seems to last for hours in all honesty. So inserting that pipe there, of course they do put a small amount of pea gravel on the bottom. Insert the pipe and then gravel over the top of it. Get the tram over the top of that and then gravel over it with a small amount of gravel just to weigh it down, and then of course topsoil over the top. Now that is a very good point actually. I can show you the work that they did yesterday on this portion and you'd never even know it was done. So looks real good, certainly does. I'll show you just how it links into the drain itself as well. There you go. So it does look good, and you can see there the brickwork hasn't been done just yet, but I'm sure that'll probably be more of a finishing off job than anything else. And then still add in some of that pea gravel over the top. Now real quick, I will use this opportunity just to say that if you haven't subscribed already, really would appreciate it. Like I say, there's plenty of exciting things to come, probably. Well, before the rebuild, I'd say my personal favourite will likely be the jetting, and I mean, on the channel, I'd say the main culvert jetting especially was definitely some of my favourite footage that I've ever got. So, like I say, if you're into cool, satisfying videos, as well as just general progress on the breach, then I think the next couple of weeks will be very good indeed, and I am very much excited for it, especially if I'm going to have the big drone back. So yeah, plenty to look forward to. Now I'll get this one more scoop and then I'll let these boys crack. Ooh, a twofer there as well. But yeah, so I'll leave it to it for a second, and when these boys have made a bit more progress or something else happens across site, I'll be sure to bring you back. But I'll tell you what, one quick point as well is that the bridge work certainly is still ongoing. So there's plenty of work being done across site now, but with this more large scale works, certainly more of what I'm interested in. Don't get me wrong, the brickwork is certainly interesting every so often, but we've filmed plenty of that now, and yeah, we'll go and get a good look at that when we're able, but for the time being we'll focus on these guys. I just don't know how it's going to work with that. We'll see. So the pipe has been unravelled and taken toward the entrance of the culvert, as you can see on the left hand side there, and I went through the nickname ideas from Saturday's video, which of course was Friday's video, the second half put onto Saturday, and in there I asked that if anyone has any nickname ideas for the other guy, as he's affectionately known nowadays, and yeah, plenty of people responded. Now, this wasn't my idea actually, so you know, it was a great opportunity and mixed opinions. So we had a few people saying to stick with the other guy, Tog or OG, and then we had a lot of people saying as well stick with the Star Wars theme with Kenobi, and then I even saw one comment that was like OG1 Kenobi. Thought that was absolutely brilliant, genius idea. But the most people said was OG or Tog, and I think Tog is actually a good nickname. It rolls off the tongue and memorable, so I think we'll settle on Tog. Now, if anyone doesn't like the name or has any other ideas, then we won't settle on that for certain just yet, so do keep us updated on what you think there. But by the look of it, we've got the big dog, Tog, O2, and of course the Jedi Master in the machine. So we'll keep an eye on where these two are going actually, unless they're just having a quick look at what they've got to do. Seems more like the case, but we'll focus on these guys. You can see that, well, I mean, it hasn't been long since we've been here this morning, probably 20 minutes or so, I guess, and they've already done a massive portion of it. I mean, I don't really understand how they've done so much this morning. They've probably done a total of a third so far, so real quick progress. And well, I haven't used that much pea grass. Saying that, I suppose it is probably close to empty, so yeah, still a bit of work to do, but I think this will be done. Well, not topsoiling, but I think it'll mostly be done before they even go on break. So nice quick work, and we'll take this opportunity as well once again to have another check around site, make sure that we're not missing anything. It's very easy to focus on one spot in the morning, but it's always good to keep an eye out. So of course the two additional pumps, we saw that they were getting looked at a little bit yesterday, and one thing I can see over there is that the large excavator is doing some work on the spoil pile. So I'll go and have a quick look at exactly what he's doing, eh? Interesting. Certainly is interesting. Now, of course, we do know now that the spoil isn't being used for the rebuild. I think there's a better chance that it's just going to be used for well, other things across site if it's ever needed, whether that's levelling the flood field, could be anything really. But is that even breach material? It looks a different colour for whatever reason, but it must be. I mean, they wouldn't bring topsoil in and then just mix it with the spoil. That would be a bit pointless. So I'll move slightly further this way just to get an idea, but I'm guessing it's been taken from that back portion maybe, but it definitely looks new. I'm not too sure, but I mean, you can see where the pea gravel is. Nice and easy there. Doesn't hide very well, does the pea gravel. But either way, we'll leave this guy to it. Keep an eye on what he's doing every so often, and we'll go and have a quick look toward the downstream side and make sure that's running all a-okay. Now, of course, we saw the boat got refueled on Friday, so we're certainly not expecting it to get refueled just yet. I'd be very surprised by that, but we did see that the pump setup at the minute is working brilliantly. On the walk around, it was completely dry toward the sump pump. So I mean, whatever they've done to the cofferdams or to the upside pump, it's working really well. It certainly is working really well. Now, a bit of a different angle actually, getting the work from this side. Now you'll see there, once again, they're rolling that Taram out in readiness to put in the bottom, which they'll certainly need. You can see there they're already to the point that they did yesterday with the Taram. Now, are they going to be able to yeah, that'll be a lengthways, I would have thought. Now, I'm sure that's a different roll to the one yesterday. It looks a lot wider. Still not a good sound. So I'd imagine that will certainly help. Oh, back at it again. Now you can see a small amount of water holding up in that area, but well, I suppose that's probably... Actually, that's a good point. So we did see on the walk around as well that the upstream portion of this little stream was completely dry, like not a speck of water. So I'm just wondering how it's filled up with water. Where has that come from? I don't really have any good answers for that. Strange one, certainly is a strange one, but you can tell from the length of that pipe, unless they're adding an additional portion to that pipe, that is definitely not enough to go right into the entrance of the culvert. So I'm guessing the entrance of the culvert will be kept open, and then all the drains will just run into a little area in front of that before it goes into the culvert. And that's another thing as well, with the walk around we did learn that there will be works on the front of the culvert just to help with erosion protection, and I think that'll be good to see as well. How they're going to do that, I'm not too sure. I mean, there's certainly a few ways they could do it, but I'm sure they'll get all these drains inserted before they start that work. Now, I'll go get a bit of a lower angle for you again. And really quick, I'll use this opportunity just to say a massive thank you to everyone that's been supporting on Buy Me a Coffee and through Super Thanks. I really do appreciate it, and honestly, I can't thank you enough. It's been amazing, so thank you very much. And of course, the link for that is in the description of the video. And of course, today, as long as the work is willing, as long as it's busy enough, of course, we'll do the 2 videos, and then I'll come back even later on, and then the last bit of the work I'll get on camera and upload as tomorrow's video as well. Just gives me something to watch on a weekend as well. But saying that, it's going to be a busy day tomorrow, let me tell you. I'm should be anyway, moving in for the most part to the new house, so another step closer to the pond I say pond rebuild. I think it'd just be the pond build, whenever that may be, but I'm excited to film that. It'll be a while yet, don't get me wrong, but yeah, it should be good. And I'll tell you what, I think it's a good opportunity to get a little fast forwarded video. So I'll be right back. And here we go. So with the more manual labour side of things, I'm hoping it'll be quite a funny one, sped up. Now, of course, funny is probably the wrong word, but interesting, satisfying. I do like the sped up footage, and the general consensus is that most people do. Now, a few people don't, and I understand that to the same degree as well, which is why we don't overdo it. You know, it's only ever the odd clip when the work suits. So if it looks good sped up, I'm certainly willing to give it a go. but something a little different with the membrane in. So the track dumper is going to get some pea gravel again, so I thought I'd use this opportunity to get that on video, as well as check what the other large excavator is up to on top of the spoil pile. So, well, plenty by the look of it. I'll be honest with you, yeah, strange one, very strange, but yeah, I don't understand. I do not understand that one. So once again, if you've got any ideas, then I'm more than willing to keep an ear out for it, because like you say, it is a bit bizarre. Certainly is a bit bizarre, but either way, we'll focus on the job at hand for now. So just, well, a very small amount of pea gravel left in the back of the track dumper, and I'm glad they didn't try and get every little drop, because my ears would not be a massive fan of that, let me tell you. So they've just started loading the pea gravel into the track dumper. It didn't take them too long at all, so I don't know if they needed to change something or just check the pea gravel. Like you say, it was only about 20 seconds of having a look at it. So either way, you'll see it doesn't take them long. Now, to me, that looks like another grading bucket. Now, of course, the large excavator on the other side of the site, we've been used to seeing that with the larger digging bucket, mainly, I'd imagine. Well, Dave said this in his walk-around video. Apparently, the capacity between the two is very similar. So, I don't know what the bonus of that would be. Yeah, if anyone does know, then do feel free to give us a shout. But maybe that's something. I think actually Dave is coming down this morning, so I'll give him a shout. Of course, if it's into a harder material, it makes perfect sense why they'd use the digging bucket over the grading bucket. But with the softer material, like the breech material, or I suppose the pea gravel as well, I don't really see much difference. Maybe that's why they are just using it, because it isn't making that much difference. But either way, I can tell you the pipe in toward the culvert has been mostly added now. There's probably a 20-foot section that's still out of the, well, just the side, but I'll show you that in a second once these guys are all filled up. So I don't know. It looks like they're just double checking. So I'll tell you what, we'll come back over this way and I'll slow that down and have a look over here and show you the work. Now, yesterday, I have to apologise. I made 2 mistakes yesterday. 2 videos where I didn't do the hey there's me, and that is just not acceptable. So I do apologise about that. But to make it up for you, hey, there's me. And once again, thank you to everyone that does wave back. So let's go and have a look at the pipe right about now. So of course, they still have got that one section that is ready to be used, and I'm sure that'll be the final drain section that we're expecting to go in, and that of course is going from the drain head, or the manhole, sorry, through mostly the centre of this portion of the flood field to roughly around there, that little wet spot, and then straight toward the entrance of the culvert. That's what we're expecting. Now, of course, I'm not an amazing guesser or anything. If it does turn out to be true, it's all marked out with the orange posts. So if you can see them there, there's a few of them dotted around. There was one right in the middle of that wet spot. There you go. So right in the centre of screen there. So that's what's telling us basically what we're expecting to happen, and good that we can get an idea for that. Now you'll see once again it's a bit more obvious now that a bit more has been added into the bottom of the stream, in that the pipe section will not be enough to get to the entrance of the culvert, and now I think about it, it would be a good idea to just have it, like you say, a nice area in front of that culvert that is nice and open, that all these different drains are leading into. At least then they can have a good access to the culvert without what is that sound? I don't quite know. Something I can hear an engine running that I haven't been used to seeing. It's a canal boat, that'll do it. Some of them, honestly, sound very bizarre, certainly. But either way, I'll let these boys crack on for a little bit, wait for this track dumper to come back. And just like that, he's on his way, so it didn't take him too long at all. Now, I don't know why, it doesn't seem as dusty today. I don't know if it was a little damp overnight. We've certainly had no rain, but maybe that little bit of damp overnight has kept it down for the time being. Of course, we haven't had any meaningful rain in a long time. Now, a lot of places have had it worse than us. I know that there's even a lot of wildfires around the UK at the minute, which is very unusual, let me tell you. But yeah, it's just dry. It is just dry. Now you can see there as well all the dust coming off those tracks. So it is always particularly bad in that area. Of course, with the walk around on Wednesday, certain areas were a lot worse than others. But that does look nice in the morning sun. Now, of course, I can show you that. Well, let's just take it easy. Josh's drone is right above us, but there you go. So one of the hire boats from the marina is off on their travels again. So yeah, it looks like a real nice peaceful morning for some boating, and yeah, I can't say I blame him. Now, of course, the breach would have a massive effect on the marina for the boating. Now, for many reasons, but one thing that a lot of people don't realise as well is that not all the boats are on this side of the breach. So you've got the marina, but then, of course, they've got loads of hire boats, but there's a few of them that aren't even accessible to the marina anymore, which is something I didn't even think about. But one thing I did look at a little while ago, me, Dave and Colin were thinking about getting a day boat, and the availability, 0 from the last time we checked. Now, admittedly, that was probably about 6 weeks to 2 months ago, but it's nice to know that even if that isn't all the boats, that they're still getting business. That's the main thing. Now, of course, you've got other businesses affected by the breach as well. The Grinley Brook Cafe is another obvious one, of course. Their foot traffic, I'd imagine, has dwindled significantly, and yeah, it's all these things that will no doubt be helped out tremendously once it is all fixed again. We really aren't far off now, so I'd imagine it'll be a case of more to ram, a little bit more gravel. I don't think they'll need any more gravel in terms of track dumpers down here to finish this portion, or if they do, it won't be much at all. So we are getting real close now, which is of course what we like to see. So the little ducklings are off again, so there's still 4 of them as well, so they're all doing great, and yeah, looking real healthy. Now, they're growing by the day. That's the thing that I can't get over, is that yeah, they're getting massive. So I can tell you as well that the excavator has just headed off, so I'm guessing he's changing his bucket, would be my well, best guess in all honesty. But if he drives off toward the compound, then we'll know that it wasn't a great guess. But let's go and have a quick look, eh? No, so yeah, he is changing his bucket there. Ooh, a little honk from a boat. But we'll have a look what they're up to down here. So I have seen that they've taken out the pipe from the bed of the stream that went toward the culvert, and I'm not too sure why. Ooh, well, I didn't see him do that. So you see that big blue line? That is where the next drain is going to go to. So it seems to go right into the centre of that wet patch, and I can tell you, if I'm remembering rightly, that's a good 3-4 metres upstream of where the other drain exit that went into the culvert was. Oh, didn't even see that. Looks like Tog is bringing down the secondary spool of pipes. So, and a little wave there from one of the boaters as well. Now, that does look comfortable, to be fair. So when I said that we had a little wave from a boater, it turns out to be a viewer. So really appreciate you saying hi as always, and it's surprisingly common, you know, people coming down, I suppose, well, you know, fish where the fish are, but we get a lot of people coming down to say hello, and it is greatly appreciated. It certainly is, and it's always nice to talk to people too. So we'll get a nice little video of Lucy exiting the Whitchurch arm as well, but nice cinematic shot there. Of course we are limited by how high up we can film, just because the houses are in the background, and anyone knows that we're not a big fan of filming those. It's one of them with the houses. I know that we can, but you know, would you want your house being filmed all the time? Absolutely not, and it's a different kettle of fish altogether when of course flying over the houses. Would never dream of it, so would certainly not. But either way, nice satisfying shot. It's always the same with boats as well. If you can get the drone to be the same speed as the wake, it makes for a real nice shot. It certainly does. But either way, we'll leave him to it. Hopefully he has a great day, and we'll go and have a look over here. Now hopefully you heard that as well, the bit of the boom. It was the tram membrane. Of course it is a bit of a pipe just being dropped there, but hopefully with this shot as well, you can see the blue line a little better again. So I think they're just waiting, well, one on the excavator and two potentially on a few other things, but we'll wait and see, and fingers crossed it won't be too long. So all of a sudden it's gotten very busy, so an extra track dumper has been brought down, and here we go. So of course the main news is that the excavator has got the trenching bucket on, and I'd imagine they're about to do the new trench, so we'll keep an eye on this. Now I'd imagine it is a case where they can't really finish off the last of that new drain for the stream until they've got the exit at least for the new third drain completed. So it makes sense that they'd probably do all that finishing touches with the topsoil and everything at the same time. Now we'll go and get a bit of a closer look. There we go. But yeah, I am real excited to get the big drone back. I can tell Terry as well that the big drone is on its way. Too big of a news. Terry couldn't cope with it. So no, that is exciting news to say the least, and fingers crossed the delivery doesn't take too long. Now I'd imagine it will be one of them. We've seen them do it, well, repeatedly with these drains. Not so much the stream drain, because that one was already quite obvious with the drop, but we've seen that they've been having to measure the increase and decrease in height between the start and the end of the drain, and of course that does make total sense. I have to say, with the next walk around, of course that'll be in a little under 2 weeks time now, of course, that I'm excited for it. It was such a good experience on Wednesday. I don't know why I enjoyed it so much, maybe because we had a bit of free rein, and the interview time slots were very relaxed. Yeah, it was just real good. It was real good, and a very enjoyable experience, and I think the other boys thought the same as well. So it's always just nice when you can learn a lot and have a bit of a good time at the same time. Now I can tell you that from the colour of the material he's currently digging, there is a bit of topsoil mixed in with the top layer, but a lot of the bottom material is that real dark, nice topsoil that we've been so used to in this area. I do wonder if, you know, it plays a part in that topsoil spent many a month underwater. I don't know if that will play a part in that or not, but yeah, it certainly looks like good quality topsoil. Just having to double check once again that I am recording. But yeah, I think well, the whole draining situation has been quite entertaining. Now of course it's probably one of them, because it won't last for 2 weeks or anything. It might just be a case because it's short-term work, or not short-term, you know what I mean, quick work. Maybe it's got something about it, rather than the adding breach material into the flood field, because it lasted quite a while and it wasn't the most entertaining of things. It was quite satisfying at times, and certainly when they started it was fun, but no, this is just something a little different. I do feel like that's always the best parts of it. Now, I'll tell you what, I think right now is a brilliant opportunity for a little bit of sped up footage, but I will have to come back real quick and just swap my battery. So even in that short time that it took me to change my battery, they've made brilliant progress. They've probably done 3 meters in a matter of a minute or so. So yeah, it doesn't take them long at all to get this sorted. And like I say, I'm really hoping, especially this portion, will be nice, satisfying, sped up footage. Because like you say, I do enjoy watching it, and it's just something a little different, keeps it a bit fresh. Now, I was of course doing the little sped up footage there, so maybe it didn't last as long as I wanted it to, so we'll do a quick one again. But you'll see there the track dumper actually just adding that material to the top of the stream, so just covering all that up now, which interesting, certainly is interesting. Wasn't expecting that when I saw the track dumper leave. I was really expecting him to head toward the compound, so yeah, a bit of a bizarre one. But I think the best way of doing that will, well, I don't know. We'll go back to it anyway. So let's try that again. It seems typical. I swear every time we do a sped up footage, they either go and do something like that, or stop working for a minute, and then I'm filming nothing. But thankfully I don't think that'll be the case for this one, at least. Now I'll move ever so slightly, but of course for you guys that has already happened. So with the DJI controllers, you can put in such a tiny amount of input that it, even sped up, looks real smooth. So they've got to be getting close to the turn, I would have thought. So we'll keep an eye on it. Of course, you can see that wet spot real obvious from this position, and they're just, I'd imagine, trying to get to that before they start that turn, of course. Now, I'm guessing it's a strange one. I just don't know where the water's coming from. Of course, we haven't had meaningful rain in at least a month, at least. And yeah, it's still pooling up down there. And of course, on the walk around, we saw that it was standing water. It's not just damp ground. So it is a great job that they are doing this work, of course. The last thing you'd want is that becoming an issue when they're halfway through the rebuild and then they see it. After it's been topsoiled, that would be a lot more of a nightmare. But yeah, certainly good that they are doing this work, like we say. And I'm just wondering when they are going to start that turn. Now you'll see as well the pea gravel in the track dumper. They haven't really used a lot so far from the new load that they have brought down. And I'd love to know the exact length of the pipes that they're using in one of those spools, whether that will be enough to go from the manhole that we've been looking at to that point in the flood field, and then turn toward the culvert exit, because that will certainly be the longest strip of piping that we would have seen them use. But I mean, it's one of them. No doubt they've done the measurements for that, and they no doubt would have ordered it to fit that. So I wonder if that's why they've had to cut sections off the other parts they've used. That would make the most sense to me. But I will leave them to it once again, although I'm tempted to stay up a little longer just so we can see them. Ooh. I'll tell you what, we'll follow this track dumper as well, because it will be quite interesting to see where he goes. And back up there to dump up there. I suppose it certainly saves having to bring topsoil from the topsoil pile, of course. Now I know that it looks like breach material in this area, but we have seen, of course, that this area has been, well, pretty well dug out for breach material. It's only a fine layer of dust that's covering the top from where the machines have been moving it across site. So straight underneath that is the pure topsoil that they'll be after. So it's one of them. The deeper breach material only starts when you get into the ramp area. You can see there actually. It's quite obvious where it is quite dusty and sandy. And then either side, it's just a very fine layer over the top. And it's easy to tell as well. We've seen that no vegetation grows on that breach material, whereas in that area where the wet spot is and the surrounding areas, there's plenty of grass poking through. Like I say, it's only a very fine layer of that breach material. Can't be long now before they turn, I wouldn't have thought. So you can see there the large excavator went off to the bucket changing area, and he swapped to the digging bucket. So no doubt that'll mean something, but what that means just yet, I have no idea, but it will be interesting, I can assure you of that much. So we'll go and get a bit of a closer look and see what they're up to exactly. Of course, that bucket is probably at least double the width of the trenching bucket, maybe a little bit more. But yeah, certainly a lot more digging than we have been used to seeing. No, it's just, I thought Joe was on his way. And sorted. So I think the best idea actually will be going up slightly and get more of a top-down angle. There we are. Now whether this is just for a join maybe, or I'm not too sure, I don't see why they couldn't just use the trenching bucket the whole time. It seems like they're taking it into this spot, and then a bit of a strange sound coming from over there. I don't know if that's coming across on mic, but it sounds very odd. It does sound very odd. Either way, yeah, I don't see why they couldn't just use the trenching bucket and then just do a little bit of a curve, but it almost looks as well like they're going deeper in this area. You can see the trench depth on the right hand side there, and they're definitely at least 6 to 8 inches below that level, and they're still going down, unless it's investigating what the wet spot is. Could be that as well, I suppose. And of course we've got Tog on the back side of the bucket there, and he looks quite intrigued as to what he is digging into. Whether that's just because he's acting as the banksman at the minute, could well be the case, but because it is a fair hole that they're digging right there. Now I know that the drone seems to shrink everything down, but I can tell you, like you say, that is a fairly impressive hole that they're digging right there. It's got to be a good 2 or 3 foot, 2.5 foot into the ground there. Now I can tell you that they're grabbing a shovel now as well, so bit of an odd one, It always amuses me as well when the high vis is perfectly in line on the other side of us and the sun. Always makes them look very much like almost ghostly with how bright they become. Terry's just raised an excellent point as well, and I think I have to agree with him. If they're creating a little manhole similar to what we've seen on the top side of the flood field, just for a couple different drains to go into, rather than, like you say, that curved idea, just as an easier access point to well, the different drains and the sections of those going into one point, rather than the closest access point to different portions of the drains being from the culvert exit. So I think it's lunchtime, so I will go home now, upload this video, and I'll come back down later on for the second video of the day. So nice busy morning, and certainly an interesting one, and I think after break as well it'll be even more interesting. So do keep an eye out for later on's video, and once again I just want to thank everyone that made it to the end of the video, and everyone for watching in general. Really do appreciate it. Hope you all have a wonderful day, and like I say, see you later.